Hey everybody, and welcome to Epic Everyday, our weekday podcast for busy, stressed out Christians who want to thrive instead of just get through the week. I'm Liz Frericks, and this is my husband, Evan.
Good morning.
And we're so glad you guys are here with us on Friday.
Yeah, that's right. Well, every day of the week, but yeah, Friday is the funnest one.
Speak for yourself. I do like Fridays. I like the weekend. I enjoy the downtime and the family time. I just really like Mondays and starting out fresh and It's like an adventure. It's awesome.
Thanks everybody for listening to the show today, and we just appreciate you tuning in. And if you find this episode interesting or helpful or insightful or controversial or wrong, share it with somebody and let them know what you think. And, you can let us know too. You can reach out to us on Facebook or Twitter. We'd love to hear what you think about the show. Share the show, please. We'd love to get the message of the CSCs out there to as many Christians as possible, because it's been so beneficial to us, and it's really changed our faith and helped us grow. And that's what we're trying to put out there.
So since it's Friday, today's CSC is being complete. Being complete encompasses a lot of things. Being your entire self at all times. So you're not you're authentic. You're being your whole self. You're not suppressing parts of yourself. You're not fragmented like work guy and home guy. You're same person all the time. And you're not stuck in the past or the future on the worry regret spectrum. You're just in the present. You're also dealing with what is actually happening rather than living in an alternate universe or in denial.
Yeah, I think we don't realize the power of that. I mean, when you say alternate universe, it's kind of like, oh, really? Who does that? But we do that.
Lots of people.
And what we're going to get into today is this idea of we may have hurts in the past or shame or something, but instead of taking it to God, instead of confessing it to our fellows, and instead of bringing it into the light like God says he wants to do and is actually good for those kinds of things, it stays in there. I mean, a classic example is a secret addiction that nobody knows about. Right. Maybe it wrecks your life when you're 60.
You've been building the pain in for years.
And it's too much to even try to deal with. You think of some of this Me Too stuff, like coming out of Hollywood and different entertainment and stuff. It's like...
And the church too.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's like, this has been going on for 20 years, and now we know, and it's like so devastating. And even at that point, feels like, oh, well, it's just over now. I mean, there's no way that there's any redemption possible here at all. What we're talking about today is God in his gentleness, his ability to, I just came up with this one. I don't know if it's a good phrase or not, but to sit and sort with us. To sit with us and to sort it out.
Like that.
Yeah, me too. His gentleness is adequate, even if it's 100-year-old problem. I mean, if you live to be 105 and you've been suppressing this thing since you were 5 years old, God can still sit and sort with you. And his gentleness is what it takes to sort through that. It's going to be painful. It's going to be a mess. We make messes, and God can sort them out.
Yeah, I love that. Because I think sometimes we have a misconception that gentleness is disconnection.
Well, like we said, it's not just niceness. We talked about that a lot last week.
Or ignoring the problem.
Yeah.
Or suppressing your anger, like we talked about on Monday. I think sometimes people get a rep for being a gentle person because they don't get angry. And that is total ridiculousness.
To put it nicely.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's not true at all. I mean, we've read this definition out of the Complete Word Study Dictionary, the New Testament. Praetes encompasses expressing wrath toward the sin of man, and that it's the activity of blessedness that exists in one's heart from being actively angry at evil. That virtue that stands between two extremes, uncontrollable and unjustified anger, and not becoming angry at all no matter what takes place around you.
Yeah, I feel like I spent my entire childhood beating the person who doesn't get angry.
He just suppresses anger.
All my friends were like, oh, you never get angry. Wow, that's pretty interesting.
I remember that. And I was like, dude, totally not true.
And the people who do that, they know, I knew, my heart is full of anger all the time.
Right.
I didn't know what to do with it. So it's not true. either way. And that's not appropriate. And it's not appropriate to get angry at every little thing and fly off the handle all the time.
Right. But I think, we suppress this stuff just the same way we talked about with addictions. Like, it's the same problem. It's that it feels like it's too hard. It feels like it's going to be too messy. We just keep putting off the problem.
Yeah. I mean, because we've got this experience processing through trauma, but any emotion that's been kind of on lockdown, once you kind of start to process through it, there's going to be a lot of work to do there. And it feels like it's going to consume you.
But it doesn't last.
That's right.
I can tell that from personal experience. It totally doesn't last. It might last for longer than you want it to last, but it doesn't last. You process through, and then you get to process something else afterwards.
Well, and that's a really good life, isn't it? I mean, that's a
right.
high calling to continue to grow. I mean, who are we to think that we can get to a place where we're not really growing anymore?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
When we were talking about this, one of the stories that came up is out of Beth Moore's Living Beyond Yourself. She has this great example of prayatis. She says, I was meditating on the complicated definition of prayatis. I read it over and over again and continued to pray the words, "Teach me, my Father, teach me." Then Melissa, 11 years old at the time, called from the bathroom upstairs, "Mom, I need you." I had really believed I was finished with family responsibilities for the evening. All the children were either in their beds or getting ready for bed, and my husband was out of town. I hated to break my train of thought because I was so desiring to hear a word from God about prayatis. Hesitantly, I walked upstairs to see what she needed, asking God to help me when I returned to remember where I was in my studies. Melissa sat in the bathtub, drenched from head to toe, and said, "I've got a problem, a big problem. Last week I found a small knot in the back of my hair, and I tried to get it out with the brush. It hurt so much that I quit. Every day it's gotten bigger and bigger, and now look." In the back, nearly all of her very thick, long hair was in one huge knot. The knot was so big and so tight I could not imagine any other solution but scissors. Yet I would have had to cut her hair to the scalp. I could not believe the mess. I sat down beside her, asking God for patience, macrothumia, of course, and began to brush one hair at a time. I tried to hold her hair as tightly as I could so she would not feel it pull, but finally the knot was too close for me to fit my hand between it and her head. The tears streamed down her cheeks. I asked, "Do you want me to stop?" "No, Mommy. If you do, I'll never get it out. Keep brushing." It took us many minutes to get through those tangles, and those minutes seemed like hours. Totally submitted to untangling the mess she was in, she rested her head in my lap and endured the pain. Her tears were not those of resistance. They were tears of submission, knowing that the end was worth the means. Afterward, I sat down, held her, and explained how to avoid getting her hair into another mess like that. But I assured her that if she did, we'd get through it, tears and all. I tucked Melissa in, walked down the stairs, and thought, now let's get back to prayatis. Then I felt the Spirit of God say to my heart, "My child, that was prayatis." Is your life a tangled mess, my friend? Have you allowed certain situations to go unchecked for too long? I've done the same thing. Rest in His faithful care, cry when you must, and allow Him to comb out the tangles until you're free.
Yeah, I mean, that's the sit and sort. I mean, and we've experienced that, where God's
totally.
just like, sit with me, tell me about it, and we're going to start working on sorting it out, but it's going to be a little bit of a process. He's not just going to snap his fingers like Jiminy Cricket or
Jiminy Cricket doesn't even have fingers.
But he tells you to wish upon a star.
Oh, okay.
And then you also have,
sense.
or like the genie.
Right.
That's not how God works.
Yeah, He doesn't instantly let your hair slide out of the tangles. You still have to go through the work of brushing it. And it is work. I mean...
And it is painful.
Right. I tell people trauma work is amazing. It's the best thing ever. It's like getting paid $1 million for an hour, because there's so much growth and so much change that is absolutely worth the process of combing out the tangles, of going through that pain. But it is pain. It is difficult, and it is work.
But God goes through it with us, which is the amazing thing. And His gentleness is that embrace, that walking the path with us. He doesn't just slap us on the butt and say, "Go get him, champ," and sends us out into the world. He's there with us.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. All right, well, hopefully that gives us all some stuff to think about from this week. I mean,
Yeah, it's been it's been a good topic. It's a lot to think about and process. I know I always, even after we record the shows and then edit them, weeks later, I'm still like, oh, that's interesting, and trying to, see if it can be in one of my conversations with a friend or whatever, and just because I wanted to keep verbally processing this stuff.
Right. Yeah. And I think it's so key to remember, it doesn't matter how messed up the tangle is or how long the tangle's been there or how, any of these things that we've talked about this week, how angry you are or how much humiliation you've had in your life. You can still go back to humility. You don't have to live in humiliation,
Yeah. And God turns that harm into just plain old hurt and growing pains and development. I mean, it's an amazing process. We've got to engage with him, though, and be in the process with him.
Totally.
It's totally possible.
As always, pick whether today is going to be awesome or not, whether you're going to strengthen those neural pathways to look for the good things or the bad things, because you have a choice. We love you guys, and we're praying for you. Thanks to everybody that's been listening to the show and sharing the show. We really appreciate it. If you have found this episode helpful, please do share it. And if you have something you'd like to share with us, you can share it on Twitter or Facebook.
We'd love to hear from you.
Yep. And come back next week. We are going to go back through the CSCs. Another deep look, because we need that reminder.
Yeah. We're going to look at the basics.
Yeah.
It's going to be cool.
All right, you guys, have an awesome Friday and a great weekend.
That's right. See you on Monday.